Let us move along to our next guest. This was a big story last week. We spoke to him a week ago around this time. Brendan Loughnane, the Mercurian. He went to Las Vegas. He fought on the Dana White Contender Show. He won. He looked impressive. Dare I say, he had the most impressive performance, and yet he is still not a member of the UFC. I talked about it at length. Controversial decision. I'm happy that he's on the show. I'm glad that he's giving us some time here to talk about it all. Brendan, thank you for doing this.
Not a problem, Ariel. I've done something right if we can get on your show twice in a week.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, you may not have gotten a UFC contract, my friend, but you have a home here, okay? I was impressed. You should be there, and we'll get to all of that. 6 days later, how are you feeling about all of this?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Like I say, the only thing you can do in this life is go and give your best, and I did that. So whatever anyone else says or does after that, it's their opinion or whatever. But I went in there and left it all in that fight, so that's all I can do.
Have you watched the fight again?
I haven't.
Based on what you remember, is there anything that you wish you could have done differently?
Yeah, not going for a takedown.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because I can't even believe that you say that. I understand why you say that. What is going through your mind? Let's say 20 seconds left. Do you have any recollection what's going through your mind that leads you to shooting for that double leg?
Yeah, so here's the point. So leading up to that fight, the plan was, Algeo's good everywhere. We're going to have to mix our takedowns in. And also I did a pre-fight thing where I said, look, all the UK guys get absolutely slated for not wrestling. So I thought, I'm a good wrestler, and I thought I'd show that in the fight too. There's 30 seconds left. I can hear Brendan points from Dominic Cruz and the other cornerman. Let's get the points. And I know the biggest point scorer is a takedown, which is confusing because then you get told now it's not. So it's like, where's that really at? So I was beating the guy up on the feet, landing some great shots, and just mixed it up with a takedown, and fortunately it cost me a contract.
And so when you hear that explanation, when you see the reaction, what is going through your mind as a mixed martial artist? Like, this is being painted as a negative thing, as almost a thing that is a detriment to your performance, as almost illegal in a way. Like, it's such a horrible thing. How dare you shoot for a takedown? What is going through your mind when you're listening to that?
Yeah, it is kind of confusing, especially like when I grew up in the sport, because I've been in it a long time now too, is that takedown, you get a takedown, you won the fight. That's what it used to be like, and now it's obviously detrimental. But I get the concept of the show. I just wish it was explained a bit better that you better stand and bang, because I've got absolutely no problem doing that, as I've shown in all my other fights. So if I would have known that, I would have done that. But hindsight's a great thing. But I did what I could.
After the fight was over, you go to the back. What are you thinking? Do you think you got it?
I wasn't sure. I mean, I asked Dominic Cruz, I said, what do you think? And he's like, yeah, 100%, bro, it's good. So didn't know, and then obviously you put in front of Dana and you told no, and that moment there wasn't a very nice feeling, to be honest, especially when I thought I had a great performance, and the other guys on the show was, you want to give me someone that's 3-0, I'll show you straight killer instinct and savagery, but I got the hardest fight out of everyone. And when you're having tough fights against high level opponents, that's how the fights go sometimes, as you know.
Right. When you have that scene where you guys are all sitting there and you're listening to the explanation, what is that like?
It's a bit crazy, to be honest. You've got about 20 cameras on you. There's loads of people just stood there, and then it's like you get a camera thrown in your face and told, no, it's not you. And then it's like no one tells you to get up, no one tells you to do it, and you're like, what do I do now? I just want to be on my own, and that's kind of how it felt.
Right. And so even if someone says, like, we want straight killers in there, the thing that I'm having a hard time coming to terms with, Brendan, is that we're not talking about you shooting with 60 seconds left or 90 seconds left and laying on top of your opponent and just riding out a victory. We're talking about 10 seconds here. Very likely you are not knocking him out in those 10 seconds. If anything, you're going back and forth. Okay, it's a nice little sequence, but we're talking about 10 seconds. Don't you feel like this is all getting a little too crazy? Like, it's a little overblown what we're talking about here?
I mean, yeah, especially when you've had such a great fight, Ariel, and like you're going back and forth, and he's landing good shots, you're landing good shots. You put on a great fight. We had the whole place standing on their feet. Everyone at home loved the fight, and I just thought, with that kind of performance, I'm sure that's what you want, aren't we, in the entertainment business? And we definitely entertained, and I don't think the other fights were very entertaining. No disrespect to them, but fair play to them. They went and got their contract, and I'm happy for everyone else on the show. But I definitely think I did enough.
What did you think of the Apex, that new facility? Now that you actually got the fight in there, what was that like?
It's kind of surreal. It was, I fought on the Ultimate Fighter before, so I fought in like kind of like an empty room, and that's what it felt like. It's like a weird feeling, like especially when you're having such a great fight and you're used to crazy crowds going mental. There's none of that going on, and like it's a really subdued atmosphere, and it makes it very real because, like I say, there's only a handful of people. Well, there's probably about 100 people in there when you're used to fighting in front of 5,000. But the actual facilities and the arena is incredible.
Do you feel like there is more to this decision, or you're just being judged on the fight itself?
I have no idea. I've been number one in Europe for about 6 years, and I've watched number 6, 7, 8, 15, 12 get signed. I get on this stage, I get my chance. People say I should have got a chance on a proper card, but I took this opportunity because it was the first one that came. I go in and put a world-class performance, and you still don't get one. So now I don't even know where I'm at, to be honest, but someone's going to have to give me a good offer now to get back in there on another show.
Okay, so you're not a conspiracy theorist? Like nothing else has happened? I'm trying to just figure out if something else has happened in the past between you and the UFC, someone there, just to kind of make sense of all of this.
I ask myself the same question every day.
Okay, and to the best of your knowledge, there's nothing?
Absolutely nothing. I not that I can think of. Let's say I fought there. I fought Norman Park on the Ultimate Fighter, Patrick Idice. I fought Mike Wilson, and I fought Bill Algeo, and every single one of them fights have been barnstormers. You go and watch them all. Great performances. And then, I'm still sat here talking about why I've not got a contract. It's crazy to me, honestly.
And so, to the best of my knowledge, they have 30 days to sign from the fight itself. So from last week, if you win on the Contender Series, they have a 30-day window where they can sign you exclusively. Is that accurate?
I don't know anything about that. To be honest, I didn't really read what I signed, but yeah, maybe.
Maybe you should. That's my understanding. Meaning, if you lost the fight, you can go sign anywhere. But for the next now 24 or so days, you can't go sign with someone else tomorrow. They have the rights to you. I'm just wondering, did you get any kind of impression? Because I saw a lot of people afterwards say, oh, this is all part of a master plan. They're going to sign him. It's making him into a bigger star. They're going to pick him up. Blah, blah. Did you get any impression off camera, behind the scenes, that you're someone that they're still very interested in and you have a chance to be signed?
Absolutely no way. I didn't even speak to Dana White. The only time I've ever seen Dana White in my whole life was when I come out of that cage, shook his hand, and then went in the back. I've never seen him since, never seen him before. And if this is part of some master plan, this is the first news that I know, because nobody even come and spoke to me. So, and thanks for letting me know about the 30-day thing, because I didn't even know about that myself. So, thank you for letting me know.
And matchmaker, executive, no one went to the back to speak to you afterwards. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the fight. Thank you for your time. Good luck. Nothing.
No.
Wow. Does that surprise you?
I mean, listen, I know what I signed up for. I signed up for a prize fight, for a chance at a contract. I don't want no patting on the back. I don't want anything. Like I say, leading up to that fight, I had a great camp, and I put everything into the fight. I won every single round, beat the guy half to death. Still didn't get what I went there for. So now it's time to move on and see what's what.
Do you even want to re-sign with the UFC, or sign with the UFC, I should say? Do you have any interest after going through all of this? If they called you tomorrow and said, we have an opportunity next month for you, are you interested?
I mean, it's the UFC and it's what I've worked towards, but I don't know, it's just pretty hard at the minute, especially we're only 6 days on. I'm sure I'll get over it, but right now it's still quite hard to take,
I know that Bellator is going out and trying to sign every free agent in the UK. My understanding is they actually did speak to you not that long ago, but you wanted to try to hold out hope to go sign with the UFC. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, that was a few people. That was PFL, that was KSW, that was Bellator. And I spoke to every single one of them, and I waited out for the contenders to try and make my dream happen. So, that's where I was at with that. So, what happens from here? Sure, I'll open up communication with all them again.
Do you regret that now?
No, not one bit. No, no, no. I'm an opportunist. I like to say, even though this was the lowest money and the least opportunity, well, it was the best opportunity if I would have won and would have got the contract. But I mean, in terms of like financial gain, it was the lowest. And in terms of like these Bellator and PFL offers a chance to win $1 million in 5 months, and some of the other offers were really good. So, like I say, it's not the do all and end all. I'll go back and I'll look at them with my team, and yeah, I'm excited for the future, Ariel.
Yeah, I mean, do you take away any silver linings? Do you see any silver linings in all of this? You are a lot more well known. I mean, Wednesday, the day after, the whole MMA world was talking about you. You were the biggest story. That has to be good, right?
I mean, that's definitely a positive you can take out of it. I mean, I've had a few unlucky decisions I've talked to you about, and no one really got to see them. At least now I've been, I don't know, unjustly done, you could say, in front of the world. Everyone got to see it, every reporter. I mean, you, Luke Thomas, and all the other shows, and everyone did a breakdown on it. And then I'm sure you saw Pete's rant. And yeah,
Legendary.
it was, it was legendary, and it was heartwarming. And thank you to everyone that got behind me, especially yourself, your kind words. And it was great to see. And it definitely cheered me up on the Wednesday morning with my broken nose.
Did you in fact break your nose?
Yeah, I broke my nose and I pissed blood.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first, let me ask about the nose. Do you need surgery on the nose?
No, Ariel, this ain't my first rodeo.
Okay. And the peeing of blood, is that a common thing for you?
No, that's happened once before, about 5 years ago.
Oh.
And it was them teeps to the gut. They give me like 5 of them, and every single one was hurting. And then I got into my hotel room after the fight, and then I walked into the toilet. And I was like, oh, you know what? I said, I'm actually going to document this because of some of the comments that were made.
Yeah.
You don't leave it all in there and this and that. I thought, I'll show everybody what I really put into this sport. And yeah, that's why I put it on Instagram.
Yeah. And what is that like when like blood is coming out? Like, does it feel different? Does that hurt? What is that like?
No, it just feels like you're having a normal pee, and then all of a sudden it's red. It's like, oh no.
Oh man.
That's not good.
And
actually, I should probably get checked out. I've not actually checked what that was yet.
And how long does that last?
It was just one.
Oh, just one. Okay. All right. Well, I guess it's better.
I wonder what that actually is. If anyone knows, can you please message me?
Yeah. And speaking of which, what's going on with your Instagram? You've been locked out of it?
What's so then after the fight, UFC had highlights of my fight, and I was like, oh yeah, I reposted it, put it on, and then all of a sudden you've been blocked. I got blocked on like the most important time I had on Instagram when everyone actually wanted to see my Instagram. I couldn't put anything on for like 4 or 5 days, so I learnt my lesson. Sorry to the UFC.
And are you back?
I'm back in business, thank God.
Man, when it rains, it pours, huh? They got you from both sides there.
Whoa, they locked me down, Ariel. They kicked me out and locked me down.
My gosh, the man holding you down. I can't imagine what it must be like. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I can't imagine what it's like to fight in a fight like that, fight your heart out, break your nose, urinating blood, win the fight, and then have to go online and hear people say, "You're not a killer, bro. You didn't leave it all out there." Like these people who have never fought before, who don't have the balls to fight in there. Like it's just amazing that we're breeding this kind of fan, right? Like what exactly does a killer mean? What does that mean, killer? Like I feel like you would never even hear that term be used in boxing or any other combat sport. I want killer. What does that mean? It's such a sophomoric term. Our sport is better than that, in my opinion. And so I can't imagine some of the stuff that you were hearing.
Yeah, well, like you say, I thought we'd moved on from them days when we started putting gloves on and we started having rules. And I tried to show a full array of martial arts. Like I said, I'm from England. Everyone says we can't wrestle. Oh, you English guys just get put on your back and you can't get up. So I thought I'd go out and show you how to take down a D1 wrestler, which how many English people have done that? Control them on the floor, take the back of a black belt, beat him with 7 right hands. I've shown every facet of mixed martial arts for 15 minutes, which is better than a 30-second low kick knockout in my eyes. I've shown my full diversity. I've shown that I can hang with the top guys. And I thought that's what we're in this for. But clearly the premise of that show is to go out and be a savage.
A killer, Brendan. Get it right. Killer. Now, I spoke to you last week about some of the other disappointing losses in your career. You've only had 3, but Pat Healy and Tom Duquesnoy. Are you starting to get those feelings again? Like, screw all of this. I don't want to do this anymore.
I mean, at this stage now, 29, 17-3, we should be looking at what, 20-0 now. I'm sat here talking to you like I just lost a fight and I've done one of my best performances. So it's like, where do you really go from here? And I think now it has to be a very good offer now, and someone has to come and go, right, we're going to give you this and this, and then make it worth my while right now.
Is there anyone of note or anything that was said to you in the aftermath of all of this that really stuck to you, that you were surprised this person reached out to you, gave you some advice on how to deal with this?
Wow. If you'd have seen my inbox, it was insane. And it was like, Paul Daly sent me a sick message, Linton Vassell, who else? There was just so many encouraging, heartwarming messages like, well done, bro. Every time something like this happens, you always end up seeing why you really do it, and the people that are watching and you're inspiring. And that's what I took from this fight. A lot of people say, like I say, I'm sat talking to you that I lost this fight and I just smashed the guy 3 rounds, and it's like, why am I feeling like this? But I'm sure it'll blow over, and there's plenty more to come from me, as you can see.
Yeah. And I'm just curious. I mean, it's hard to know in the moment, and it's almost not fair to Puna Soriano, but did you watch his fight either during or after you found out, and compare like your performance to his and say like, how did he get in and I not get in? Did you think about that at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, these guys are very green, 5-0, 3-0, getting in there. So I'm a seasoned veteran now, and I think I put on a world-class performance of all facets of MMA. I mean, these guys, no disrespect, but like I say, if you give me someone that's 3-0 and someone that's inexperienced like that, then you'll see what this thing is, what they're talking about. But if you're going to give me a UFC level fight and a world-class opponent, then expect to fight like that. So no disrespect to them, and I'm happy for them getting in. But like I say, I had the hardest fight of the night by far.
Yeah. Did you talk to him afterwards? Did he talk to you?
Who's my opponent?
No, Puna.
Puna, no, I've not spoke to him. And I spoke to the heavyweight guy. He was sat next to me, and he was such a humble, really nice guy. And he was like, they were showing us our highlights of our fights. He was like looking at me like, whoa. He's like, you're a killer, bro. And then he got his contract, and I was super happy for him. He had his little kid there, and I was super pumped for him.
And having Dominic Cruz in your corner, I'm sure that helped you as well, especially in the aftermath. What did he say to you?
Oh, he was heartbroken. We were all heartbroken. We all left there on that bus like a loss.
Yeah.
After winning 3 rounds, it was like we're all just like all down, and it was like, why am I like? You shouldn't have to feel like that after you beat someone's ass. But that was definitely a surreal feeling, and I thought having me and Dominic as a team would help me, get. So say there is something close like that on the edge of getting a contract, maybe having Dominic there and Dominic's blessings and telling him how good I was, maybe that would have helped, but obviously not. So God knows what can get Brendan Loughnane into the UFC now.
Where do you go from here? What is your plan now? You're just going to sit back and wait? You want to take some time off? What's your line of thinking?
Yeah, time off, letting the nose heal up. I've definitely got some thinking to do on where I wanted to go now, because like I say, it's an 11-year journey. It's not just a 6-year journey. This is 11 years I've put into this sport now, and it took me 6 years to get back into a position where I could get a contract. I left my heart and soul in there to get that contract. Still wasn't enough, so now I have to reassess what my goals were. I had 3 goals when I started fighting. One was to fight in the UFC, one was to headline the MEN Arena where I live, and one was to fight in Las Vegas. I've done all 3 of them now, and it's time to reassess where we go from here.
Okay. And so even though this particular thing didn't work out, people forget you did have your chance in the UFC. It's not now in your career where you probably want it to be, where you feel like you're really firing on all cylinders. But I think initially some people might think like, wait a second, you didn't get a chance to fight in the UFC. No, you did. It was just 7 years ago. And again, I think you deserve to be there, and you should be there. And the idea that you're not UFC caliber, can't hang in the UFC because you went for a takedown with 10 seconds left, still gives me a headache. I can't imagine how you feel about this, my friend, but I'm happy to see that you're in good spirits and you're not letting it get you too much, unless you're just putting on a front right now and you're a very good actor, because I'm very frustrated about all of this, Brendan. But I think there is a silver lining to all this, and I think that a lot more people know who you are, And you've become a big story, and I think you've become a very sympathetic character, and a lot of people are now pulling for you to be as successful as possible. So I hope you know that there are a lot of people who have your back and think that you certainly deserve to be fighting on the biggest stage possible.
I genuinely mean that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone that sent me a message. Thank you to Pizza, yourself, and Luke Thomas, and everyone that's got involved in this situation. And let's see, this might not be the end. Who knows? Who knows what comes from this situation? Like you say, I've got a lot of publicity, so let's hold tight with this one. All
right. Brendan, well done, my friend. Get well soon, the nose and everything, and the blood peeing and all that. And I hope that you remain in good spirits and that good news is coming your way. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, you won that fight, okay? Try to remind yourself, you actually won that fight. That was a W that goes on your record. It was a job well done.
My man, thank you very much, Ariel.
All right, there he is, Brendan Loughnane. Can I get it right for once? Someone just wrote, I don't want to say it because I'm afraid to say it. Let me see. Someone wrote it to me just here moments ago. Mancunian, okay? I screwed it up before. I want to get it right. Thank you, Stamina MC. Mancunian, all right? The Mancunian himself. Respect that man. He should be in the UFC. He should be fighting on the highest of stages possible. And if it doesn't work out there, then so be it. Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.